So Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, is getting sued by the SEC. This is the headlines today. SEC sues Musk over securities violation in federal court. You also have this: Elon Musk underpaid Twitter acquisition by $150 million by not disclosing stake, SEC alleges. This is the quote from the SEC. It says here, because Musk failed to timely disclose his beneficial ownership, he was able to make these purchases from the unsuspecting public at artificially low prices, which did not yet reflect the undisclosed material information of Musk's beneficial ownership of more than 5% of Twitter common stock and investment purpose. If you guys don't understand, basically when I start buying up a company, I need to announce that publicly. That's what I'm doing, especially when you reach over the 5% threshold. He reached over the 5% threshold. This is essentially Musk 5% ownership, that is. Did not disclose that. They give some stupid excuse like, oh, we forgot, or we had it sitting in our, in our email. We just forgot to hit send, or whatever stupid reason that they give. But basically they didn't disclose it, right? And then the SEC is then saying you underpaid market rate because you are doing this secretly. Basically, you could call this an insider trading kind of thing. And guys, I believe in free markets. This is a big part of that. But unfortunately, people like Musk try to game the system and then buy off government officials. That's what it's all about. If you want to look at what Musk is saying here, this is over on his platform, Twitter X. It says here, and this is just how it replies, the SEC is suing Elon Musk to buy Twitter at artificially low prices. Another person or account says the current SEC is a literal dumpster fire. And then Elon Musk replies, totally broken organization, referring to the SEC. They spend their time on stuff like this when there are so many actual crimes that go unpunished. Elon Musk has been actually called to court several times on this case. He just always dodges it, basically. The last time, because we were tracking this issue, they called him out to LA to give a testimony, I guess you could call it. He said he was busy with his rockets. His lawyers then went, and then so did SEC lawyers, and then Musk ended up paying for the lawyers, airfare fees, etc. But basically, he just ignores whatever kind of action. I know probably nothing's going to happen to Musk regarding the SEC stuff, but I do tell you what's going on, right? This has been a long-running case. We know Trump got off of, basically inspiring violence. That's according to Jack Smith. This was the headline. Jack Smith report, Trump inspired his supporters to commit physical violence on January 6th. Jack Smith hence resigned because, the Supreme Court's got immunity for Trump. You guys know this. And then I guess theoretically Musk does also have immunity. I'm just going over this stuff because it's important to understand what's going on. Even if, Musk doesn't face any punishment, you should know that there are some people who are trying to enforce the law. Again, it depends on your point of view on this stuff. If you want billionaires like Musk to continue to, play the market in his own little private, scheme, not publicly do things when you're supposed to, etc. Or maybe he's going to acquire TikTok. And, normally, say, if you already have X, trying to acquire TikTok, that might come over some sort of, monopoly kind of rules. But hey, if you, buy off the government, you can do whatever you want. China maybe want to do business with Musk because they have Musk in their pocket. One thing I always say, and this is for people who love Musk, because sometimes people say, oh, Chris, it's all about free speech, and we love free speech, right? Okay, if that were true, guys, why does Musk never, ever, ever say bad things about China? Why doesn't Musk ever criticize free speech in China, right? I told you, I used to work in China, I used to live in China. Free speech is a major problem in China. Human rights issues are a big problem in China. Musk will never say anything about that. He's in their pocket, to be perfectly frank. He has a factory over there. He's got business dealings over there. And the way this game is played is, if we're worried about, say, China, taking U.S. user data, and then the way to get around that is say, oh, well, we have Musk buying the China branch or the U.S. branch of TikTok, which is a Chinese company. Then China was like, oh, well, we know we got Musk in their pocket, so if we ever want any data, we just ask Musk, right? And then so that's sort of how you play this game. It's so obvious, but it depends if you want to look. And even the UK is thinking, man, this Musk guy is a security threat, right? He can inspire violence in UK. He's involved in German politics. You guys know he's supporting the far-right AfD party. He's getting involved with Canadian politics, etc. Retired lieutenant general in the USA. I was saying Musk is a security risk with his dealings with China, Russia, and all sorts of stuff. It just keeps getting worse. I know we talk about this all the time, but I just want to make sure you guys understand what's going on. And also, too, in this particular episode, I want to give some historical significance. It's actually pretty interesting when you look at, say, for example, robber baron, which you talk about a lot on the channel, but some people may never look this up before. This is over on Wikipedia. Let me read through it and learn from the past and think about how it applies today. The definition of robber baron. Robber baron is a term first applied as social criticism by 19th century muckrakers and others to ascertain wealthy, powerful, and unethical 19th century American businessmen. I'm talking about a long time ago, right? The term appeared in that use as early as August 1870 in the issue of the Atlantic Monthly magazine. By the late 19th century, the term was typically applied to businessmen who used exploitive practices to amass their wealth, right? That's the kind of a definition. A businessman to use exploitive practices to amass their wealth. Now listen to the kind of stuff that they used to do, the robber barons, and think about how it applies to today with Musk, etc. Those practices included unfettered consumption and destruction of natural resources, right? So think about how Donald Trump and their team, they want to use federal land, this would be national parks, to drill, build hotels, these kind of things. They want to buy Greenland, take all the resources they possibly can, right? Unfettered consumption and destruction of natural resources, right? Cut down whatever trees, influencing high levels of government. Musk is literally getting an office right next door to Trump. You guys know that. Just did a video on that. You can watch that. Wage slavery, right? So these are the kind of stuff that the Musk hate. He hates unions. They hate workers. They don't want worker protections. Anytime there's something bad happens, workers do sue Musk all the time. And same with Trump. They just try their best to not pay their workers. And it's always so strange to me that anyone follows or wants to support these people, because the average person, the 99%, is a worker. You're not a robber baron, and normally you want your boss to pay you. Am I saying anything crazy? So why would you support someone who doesn't want to pay workers? It's so weird. And then when people say, oh, Chris, you're so dumb. They're the best businessmen in the whole world. It's that's why they always attack the media. Because when you come out and report of hey, this particular worker is not getting paid, Trump and Musk are screwing people. And all Trump Musk ever say, they just say, oh, the media just hates me. The media just hates me. And it's that's how this game is played, right? To just attack the media when they report story of what's going on. Squashing competition by acquiring their competitors. So I guess in this situation, we're getting TikTok with help of the Chinese government, right? To create monopolies and or trusts that control the market. This is all in the definition of robber baron. Schemes to sell stock at inflated prices to unsuspecting investors. That's the story of Tesla stock, right? And Elon Musk has an army of paid social media influencers that basically say a bunch of lies every day about how he's going to build lots of robots. They're going to go to Mars. You're all going to be rich. Robot cars are going to be everywhere. Everyone's going to be awesome. It's so funny. And I'm just showing you guys U.S. history. Learn from history, right? This is the purpose of education is can't make this stuff up. And I say that because the way the Musk and the Trump act, remember, they're always attacking our news media. They're always attacking education. They're always attacking our healthcare. They're attack institutions because they want to keep the average population just basically a bunch of peasants, right? It's the best way to put it. They want you to be peasants. They want you just to work, for them. And it's interesting when you look back at, and I'll finish this. It says here, the term combines the sense of criminal, which is robber, and the illegitimate aristocracy baron in a republic. So hence Musk is a robber baron. But it's interesting when you look at these old pictures from, this would be the turn of the 19th century, I guess. We have these robber barons, they control the railroad, the steel, etc. It's a different era back then, right? But now it's, the media, the politics, etc. But, just learn from this stuff. This is stuff we all learn as kids. At least you should if you're paying attention in school. And I know I'm being a little bit mean, but I mean, this is just the part of the foundations of why we have systems in place, to stop monopolies. We learn this kind of stuff of okay, you can't have, completely free, unfettered capitalism. You need to have some, checks and balances there. And every time I mention this kind of stuff, usually the average person's well, shouldn't we have checks and balances? And the answer is yes. Yes, we should. Right? Of course we should. But over time, it's been eroded. It tends to be the Republicans want to erode the Constitution, right? Be it with the the act, was it the Citizens Act? Is it the United Citizens? I think this was called, where basically corporations are now people and they can donate whatever they want, and you call that free speech. So basically, that's how Musk is able to buy Trump. And then you're supposed to have ethics laws, but the Trump people, they said, okay, well, this time around we won't take money from foreign governments, but hey, foreign private companies, no problem, right? And even Trump is trying to set up a hotel in DC. They're working on negotiating right now. That was reported by Eric Trump. I mean, all this stuff is public. We can all see it, but it just, the people on their side don't care. They think we're just making random stuff up. I'm not that creative to make up all these things about hotels and and offices next to the White House. I'm not that creative, right? I mean, and then they'll even like, I'll give you, I've been coughing here. I'm so sick. I'll give you an example. When someone asked Musk about substance abuse, his answer was, I've never failed a drug test. That's how he answers this kind of stuff, right? He doesn't deny. It's stupid. Here's a drawing here, and it shows how a robber baron is can crush the little guy with poor wages or low wages and high rent. You guys, learn from the past, right? This stuff has happened before. Here in Korea, we're trying to fight corruption, guys. Corruption's everywhere, so I don't want to pretend like it's only USA. It's everywhere, but it depends how you want to enforce it and fight back as regular people. Right now, we're trying to arrest our president because the dude's corrupt as hell. He's like influenced by cults. I'm not making that up. That's crazy. It's like shaman cult stuff. The president before him in his party was also part of this shaman cult crap. And then he tried to order a legal military coup. And we're going for a second arrest because we're trying to do this non-violently. Korea has a different history in the USA, right? Every country has a different history. But the idea, though, should always be the same. As regular person, right? You want a free market, you want freedom. I don't dispute that, right? You should be, and that's sort of why I always tell you guys to watch movies. I tell you guys to learn history, put the stuff in context. I always mention these Korean movies because I just think these are just absolutely fantastic. Because it shows how regular people can rise up and pay attention to stuff. This one's called 1987. I keep recommending it. If you haven't seen it, please do. 12 Tough Days is also a good one. It kind of exposes how a Trumpy kind of people will throw together their power and try to take over, which you're seeing. And also too, if you want to look at any sort of documentaries or history, just learn about recent events. I remember the Hong Kong protest. This was the umbrella protest, essentially. I'm just showing you guys some pictures of this stuff. I don't consider people in other countries different. Just look at like how we all want the same things, right? You just want to take care of your family, etc. And I don't want to live in a world where like all the companies are run by a bunch of cronies, which is essentially what you see with the Trump people. Or look at something like Occupy Wall Street, right? I'm just saying this is and I lived through this stuff, and many people are older. You guys probably remember this stuff during the great financial crisis, like all these, Wall Street people got bailouts and stuff. So, we've seen this stuff before. Like I said, I don't think any penalty will come to Musk, but I do think we should talk about it. And that's unfortunately it's something that we're gonna have to deal with for the next at least 4 years. I can't tell you what's gonna happen after that. Because if people don't pay attention to stuff and they just let Musk get over monopolies, buy whatever politicians, inflate whatever stock, and do pump and dumps all illegally, and get away with it, right? Because no one cares or pays attention. This stuff matters to me, and I think it should matter to you. So just to share my thoughts on this, I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.